Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about law of probability and genetics, and here's a problem. A plant that has a genotype that is homozygous for 5 genes is mated with one that is also homozygous for 5 genes, but as you see, genotypes are different. F1 individuals are self to produce an F2 generation. What is the chance of getting a plant whose genotype is identical to one of the parents? And if you know how to solve this problem, you may stop video here, try to solve this problem on your own, and when you would be ready, you can run video again and you can compare your answer with my answer and explanation. So before I will proceed, let me write down two parental genotypes that we have to cross. So parent 1 genotype is here. So this is capital A, small b, small c, capital D, and capital E. And we have to cross with genotype of the second parent, and this is going to be small a, capital B, capital C, small d, and small e. And this is parental generation. And when we cross these two parents, we are going to get F1 generation. And what we expect to get, let's take a look at each locus separately. So for example, if we take a look at these two parents, parent 1 going to be homozygous dominant for the gene A, and parent 2 going to be homozygous recessive for the gene A. So when we build a Punnett square, as you see, there is only one variant possible for such a progeny, that all the progeny going to be heterozygous. So no any other variants are possible. So we can say that progeny going to be heterozygous for the gene A, because parent 1 can produce only gamete that has capital A allele, and parent 2 only can produce gamete that has only small a allele. So this is only one variant here. And let's consider all the rest genes. As you see here, one parent is homozygous recessive, another one homozygous dominant for the gene B. So the same picture would be here, and homozygous recessive here, homozygous dominant here. So heterozygous for the gene C in F1 generation, and the same for the gene D. So we are going to get capital D, small d here, and the same for the gene E. We are going to get capital E and small e here. So this is going to be genotype of F1 generation. Now, according to our problem, F1 individuals are self to produce an F2 generation. So all F1 generation going to be uniform. Now we have to self-pollinate this F1 generation, and of course in F2 generation we are going to get many genotypes. For example, let's consider once again this locus, this gene, and as you see we have two alleles, so this parent may produce two gametes. One may have capital A, another one may have a small a, or dominant and recessive. And when we self-pollinate, that means that we have to cross the same genotype with itself, and here is results that we can predict using Punnett square. And as you see, chances that we are going to get homozygous recessive genotype in F2 generation going to be 1 out of 4. Chances that we are going to get homozygous dominant genotype would be 1 out of 4. And chances that we are going to get heterozygous genotype, like in parents, would be 1/2, or 2 out of 4. And 1/2 is the same as 2 out of 4. So let's return to our question. What is the chance of getting plant whose genotype is identical to one of the parents? So let's once again consider this genotype. So when we cross two parents of the same genotype that is heterozygous, what is the probability that progeny would be homozygous dominant? And as you see, according to this Punnett square, the chances is 1/4. So we can put 1/4 here. And what is the chances that if we cross two parents, that is going to be heterozygous for the gene B, and the same results would be, we just change capital A and small a with capital B and small b, and the same for the second parent, and frequencies are going to be the same. So when we have two heterozygous parents for the gene B, the chances that they would produce progeny that is going to be homozygous recessive for the gene B would be 1/4. So once again, we can put 1/4 here. And the same applies to the rest of the genes, so 1/4 each time. And now we just have to multiply all these independent events, and we are going to get a result 1 over 1024. And this is chances that when we self-pollinate F1 generation, that in F2 generation progeny would be of this genotype. Or we also can abbreviate it as 1/4 raised 5. So we have 5 genes, and result would be the same, 1 over 1024. And as you see, we have two parents. So the question is, what is the chance of getting a plant whose genotype is identical to one of the parents? So it can be parent 1 or parent 2. So we have to add these two probabilities, and in example before we use product rule, and this time we have to use sum rule. So we have to add two probabilities, and this is going to be 1 over 1024 plus 1 over 1024 probability to get a genotype as a second parent, and together this is going to be 2 over 1024, or we can reduce it to 1 over 512. And this is going to be our answer today, and I hope everyone were able to solve this problem correctly. Or for those of you who didn't know how to solve this problem, now you would be better prepared for your exams. Thank you for your attention. Please subscribe for my new videos that I post almost every day. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please write your comments and ask questions if you have any. And see you in the next video. Goodbye.